Okay, first of all, I want to thank the Glazer Clinics for having me. My name is Rob Zeitman. I'm the assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, offensive line coach at Ferris State University. Ferris State University is a Division II GLIAC school located in Big Rapids, Michigan. Certainly it's a privilege for us to be able to present some of our offensive concepts to you guys today. My email address is on the first slide. If you want to get in touch with me, if you have further questions or want to get on campus, certainly we can facilitate that. Our spring game, our spring clinic rather, is April 20th, Saturday, April 20th, and we'll be going over some of these things, and then there's a practice that everyone can see. If you can't make it up then and want to come up some other time, certainly we can facilitate that. Would like to have you. We're first and foremost a short pistol veer option team. Everything else comes off of that, and that's kind of our offensive system. We also like to throw the ball around quite a bit in terms of a short passing game. We're a no huddle team a la Oregon, and utilizing some of those concepts at times. So we're kind of a hybrid, utilizing first and foremost the Navy Georgia Tech style veer option, but just from different formations and whatnot. Our offensive system by the numbers: 907 plays, 598 were run plays in 2012. We'd like to be more balanced than that, but in your first year and you're dealing with players that were recruited for a different system, we have to adapt, and we've had to adapt some of the things we've traditionally done and want to do at Ferris in order to get the most we can out of our talent, just like everyone else tries to do. So consequently, these numbers I think are a little skewed compared to what they will be, when we present in the future or kind of evaluate ourselves in the future. The inverted veer play is a reference to the jet zone read, however you want to call it. That was 23% of the run game. Inside veer represented 19% of our run game. Midline was 10% of the run game. So those two plays together have typically been a third. So they're a little shy of that, but they've been a third to a half of what we do in the run game. Outside veer was another 8%. Base give 8%. Fly and jet refers to the Navy toss play, the quick toss, and then jet is jet sweep. We're 7% of the run game, and then our wing counter was 5%. Those were plays called, not yardage gain. So that's what that represents, those numbers, those percentages. In this presentation, we'll include a discussion on spin trap and zone read. We believe them to be great complementary plays for us as we continue to transition to our style of offense in year two. So that kind of gives you a rundown and a background and kind of where we're going with this, with our complementary plays and things of that sort. We'll start off with spin trap. Talking about spin trap, really the history of this play for us comes from the old split back veer trap play. Excuse me. And so our footwork is basically comes from that. So we're going to point our toe at 3 and 9 and on the clock, and then it's open. It's very important for us to point that toe, so we open the hip, and then we got to get that second foot down, and we just spin back. We hand the ball off and we spin out to kind of give the illusion that we're going to run, a trap option play. So that's what our quarterback's doing. In terms of our running back, he's going to line up in that three-point stance. He's going to have his hand 5 yards from the ball. He's going to track straight through the quarterback and even to where the center is, and just beyond the line of scrimmage, he's going to bend it to pick up the play side tackle's block. So he's going to track straight through. He's going to cut off the tackle's second level block, which is going to cause him to bend just a bit, and he might have to bend a little bit more depending on where that linebacker is aligned. But that's kind of the expectation that we have of our running back on that play. In terms of offensive line play, Play side tackle, just like inside veer, he's going to veer release to the next linebacker inside. If there's a linebacker that shows in the B gap, then we are going to drive him and kind of clear him out of the way, or anyone lined up inside of that B gap. So the next linebacker down. It may be the middle backer, it may be a 20 backer, but either way, that's his responsibility. Guard is going to veer release also. He's going to veer release just like we do on our midline play. He's going to release to the next linebacker inside as well, or whomever shows in this A gap. If this backer shows in the A gap, then he'll take. If the play side backer shows in the A gap, then he'll drive him, and the tackle will veer release and just continue on. And essentially, they will have switched responsibilities. No communication needed. But if someone aligns inside of the A gap, then we're going to take a mic on back. So that's kind of where we are in terms of the play side guard. The center is going to step at a 45-degree angle and drive that defensive tackle. He's going to block back for that pulling guard. He's going to conditionally put his head where he feels pressure. If the defensive tackle's working up the field, he'll slide his head, across the body of the defensive tackle. If the defensive tackle's trying to work, back across into the play, like typically we find that they're going to do, then he's working the top side of this player to get his head on that hip and continue to drive him that way. So we want to create space with the center's block as much as we can. The trapping guard, he's going to, of course, his toes are on the heels of the center, and he's basically going to run through the heels of the center right in to the defensive tackle. He's going to collision him. He wants his head on the upfield side, and he wants to really kind of explode through this guy. We want to make sure that he's inside out and good to go that way. If we do have an issue where he squeezes really hard, then we're going to flip our hips on him and just log him, and our back will have to track outside of that a little bit. I believe we have a clip of that later. And then the backside tackle, he's a wheel and seal technique, so he's got to ensure the B gap. There's no B gap run through, and then make sure that end doesn't work back to the play. And normally he'll work back to the play over the top where he's a threat. So that's kind of what we're looking for in terms of our backside tackle. Here's our scheme drawn up as we're working it in practice here, working trap left. So you got your pulling guard here. We're working, to the tandem linebacker. So we got our center blocking back, and then we're going to hit right up the middle. So you see he hits up the middle. He does a nice job of picking up the tackle's block. Our guard needs to be on the top shoulder. He kind of misses there. You see our center's nice, and we do a pretty good job there. As we watch it again, see we get our head on the upfield side here with our trapper. As you can see, our trapper's right in here working right in there. That's good. This guard needs to get this shoulder. Doesn't do a good job there. We do pin this guy though, so we're in pretty good shape up front, on the play. In terms of our quarterback play, if we're going to be critical of our quarterback, he needs to get this foot down and get all the way turned before his right foot needs to be right where that dot is. Before we hand that ball off, in order to be good fundamentally. He doesn't get that done, so he feels like he's getting turned the whole time, and it's not good. He shouldn't have his eyes on the running back either. He needs to continue his fake. But that's kind of what we're looking at there. Here we see the log. We'll get a chance to see it much better on the tight version, but we'll see that we are going to get. We're using motion away this time. That really doesn't matter. We should be working down to backer. All right, we get a nice tight squeeze. This guy turns and he's running with our guy. It's not our guy doesn't do a very good job of getting. We should be able to run this and get our head up in there. Our left guard does not do a very good job there. He does turn hips and gives our guy a chance to bounce, and then our guy does that and makes what he can out of it. Here we are again. We get a nice trap there, but as you'll see, we totally miss linebackers here. We should be, and this is an issue for us on this play particularly. We should be there and there. We double the nose for whatever reason. Shouldn't be doing that. We do. If you watch our trap and guard here, he does a pretty good job of getting inside out on him. And we should have a good play. We just don't really execute it very well. It's not a play that we used very effectively this season, as we transitioned offense, like I said. However, it's a play that we'll continue to get better at, and it's a mainstay in our complementary plays, which is why we're presenting it today. Then the next play we're going to talk about here is jet sweep. Jet sweep, we're going to use a reach technique with our offensive line, which means we're going to reach the guy who's essentially leveraged to the play. Okay, so we're going to try and reach, our tackle's going to reach the end, our guard's going to reach the tackle. We're really in charge of up front level 1 guys, okay? Center's going to go through the adjacent guy to level 2 to see what he can pick up, and then the backside guys are going to do the same, okay? We're going to motion the guy across, hand the ball off. We're going to try and seal at the point of attack and just let him find an alley to go. That's our basic scheme there. Sometimes we'll move our back to the side to give ourselves an extra blocker. That's just something that we've done a little bit and tinkered with, particularly because we've used the quarterback this past year, in more designed runs than we ever have. So we've done some of that stuff. And the other thing that we've done in terms of the scheme up front is, and you'll see some clips of both of the schemes, is we've worked with the line, we've worked going the other way with it, going the other way, meaning the linemen are going to the left, and the tackle kind of inside releases and then arcs to try to get the linebacker, and we're just trying to get the flow going away, even though, we're working to the right. We're trying to get, if they're reading their keys at all, then we feel like we got a chance to get to the edge cheap. You'll see we work this scheme more in a pursuit type drill at the beginning of practice than we do any other time. But here you'll see we're working that sucker scheme, trying to see if our guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So here's another clip of us in practice doing the same thing. Not a whole lot of effort out of that defensive end on that one. Here you'll see us working our base scheme here. Now we're going to hook. We're going to hook right here. We're going to hook right here, and this is going to be the key. We need to have this guy hooked. If he's an inside shade, then we'll have our center do it, and our guard will continue to work, and then these guys are just going to kind of extend. But we're in a free rotation of personnel here, so you never know what you're going to get in terms of that. So you see guys picking up guys at the point of attack, and here we'll see some game cuts of it. Just trying to do that. That's the sucker scheme again, where we're trying to, where we actually call the line to go one way, and then we work the other. We'll show you why we do this right now. If you watch 52, we don't even, we just kind of influence him. We don't have to do anything, and then, we're gone. And the same thing with this linebacker number 50. He holds enough to where, we don't even have to deal with these two guys, where normally on a jet sweep play, they're the two guys that you would deal with the most. So, he holds enough to where he's not even he's not even a guy. He's a chaser. We shouldn't have blocked him. We should have continued through. So that's kind of how we do that. And here we are working with a tight end scheme, and this will be good for us to see, particularly from the end zone angle. We run what we call a TED. Where we'll have our tight end blocked down, as you see him starting to do here, and we'll work our tackle around, and and he's looking to pick up here. We've got our guard here working, for this shoulder, and then our center should be extending through, and that's kind of how we're working this play. We need to time it up a little bit better. We're a little late there. See, our tackle gets a nice cut on the second level guy, and it's a big first down play for us. All right, and here we'll see it again. This time we're not going to TED it because we've got each guy is covered here. So we're we're just working strength to strength. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 guys at the point of attack here, and we're just going to try and muscle the edge more than anything else. Get a nice block by that tight end, good block by the H-back, and that kind of springs us there. We'll get a better view here. We get our running back involved in it now because we've offset him. So we're there. Our tackle on the edge of the screen's working it. Our guard really needs to get rolling here. Fast forward a little bit. There's our H-back's block. Okay, that's our tackle's block. Here's our H-back's block right up here. He's the guy who's got to get the edge. Our tight end's about to pancake him. Our guard really needs to get out here. So we feel like our running back's going to help us seal. They've got one more hat there. We knew that, based on what we're doing, and we're just saying we're going to get the edge, make you run through all the stuff, and you're in trouble. And and they were, and that's a big play for us. So that's kind of our second complementary play. Like to run it a lot. It fits in with some of the newer stuff that we put in this year, so that's kind of our jet sweep play. This is our fly sweep, or the Navy toss, as a lot of people refer to it. We have a different technique here we teach with the offensive line. We're going to do what we call a run reach. Okay, where our tackle's going to try and just release this guy, just run outside. He's going to run, parallel with the line of scrimmage, looking to get as wide as he can, as fast as he can. If the defensive end is fighting over his face, then he'll block him. If the defensive end does not fight over his face and comes upfield or tries to come underneath him, then we're going to continue to work by him as the offensive tackle. The offensive guard is going to try and get to that play side shoulder of the adjacent lineman, which is the defensive end right now, and get hips turned on him. Center's going to try and do the same thing with the 3 technique. He's going to try and get play side shoulder and get hips turned on him. For us, it could also be a cut block. And then the same thing backside. We're extending through, get to the play side, get involved, pick somebody off. And that's really what we're trying to do, and kind of our mindset there as we do this. Here you'll see, some practice footage with it, you see one of the coaching points that we definitely want to make is we want to pitch this ball, okay, right here, essentially. We want that guy almost to be, behind that tackle when we pitch that ball, which would be right there. So, sometimes, we're not getting where we need to be. We're just a step behind in terms of that. That time, you see, we tried the sucker scheme on that play too. But we're just running. All right, and we tell our linemen, right now, in terms of our offensive tackle, and this is really a pursuit drill, so our defense knows that the ball has to go to the edge. Our tackle is beat right here. We tell him, just stay in contact and keep driving, and fight him all the way to the sideline. All right, fight him all the way to the sideline. Keep fighting. He's fighting. And the idea being that our back's going to be smart enough to make a vertical cut right here. He could make a vertical cut and then work back to the outside, and we're good. Unfortunately, our back isn't doing that right now, but that's why we practice. So, that's what we're trying to work on there and deal with that. All right, here we go again. This time you'll see he makes that vertical cut, and we're able to, to do something pretty good there. See, this guy's still working. He came off. I don't know why he's coming off. That the center needs to keep contact here and work. If he's working for that play side shoulder, that play side hip, then we'd be good right in there. But for whatever reason, he kind of quits on that play, and that's no good. And you see the guys in position there to make that play. So, that's really, some of the things that you kind of talk about, when you're working this play. And here's some game footage for us. You're going to see our right tackle here really just run by these guys and get out here in open space, and we're going to man block the perimeter like we talked about, in previous presentations in terms of our perimeter blocking scheme. But you see how we leave the 5. I mean, nobody blocks the guy. Look how deep he is. But we're so wide, it doesn't even matter. So we're perimeter blocking nice, and we're up the field pretty good. All right, so that's a pretty successful play for us. We'll do it again here. We don't get good pitch position this time particularly, but you see we leave the 5 technique, and he's a chaser, can't make the play. We got good perimeter blocking, and it becomes a pretty successful play for us. So that's kind of where we are with it. Same thing again here. We're pretty darn close to putting it in the end zone on that one. So that's kind of the gist of what we're doing. When you run this is a really good, we really like this near the end zone, because if you look at, we'll freeze it here, if you look at this defensive front, and say, okay, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's 4 over 4, okay? Well, they've got everyone in here. If we leverage this guy and we can block here, if we can just do that, and we're blocking here and blocking here, that's 3 blocks we need. When we go in motion, if there's no rotation here of him flying out here, we're going to have him beat by scheme automatically. There's no rotation, we know that kid's going to walk in the end zone. All right, and it really does become that easy. Here's a big 3rd down play. We changed our formation a little bit here. We stacked our receivers and brought them essentially underneath our slots and stacked them there. And you'll see. Oh, excuse me. You'll kind of see, how we're able to take advantage of that circumstance. See how number 2 arcs out, and we're there. He's releasing for we call him number 1. He's on the line of scrimmage. He's releasing for number 2. Our tackle gets his guy. Our guard's hustling, and then a 3rd and 8 play. Which really, when you look at it, we're 3rd and 8. You can see these guys are all playing pass here. They're thinking we're going to run some kind of rub or something. We're going to do some fancy, West Coast offense thing. And and here we go. We're running this play, and we gash them. We gash them, for 14 yards or whatever it is. Here it is from the end zone angle. You'll see we're going to run right by that 5 technique. And and see what we can do. This play side guard really does a great job of not wasting his block. He could have wasted his block there. Carlin, our right tackle, gets a little bit worried about his angle pursuit, so he decides to stay with the 5 technique. But look at our guards hustle, in terms of that. We've got guys working here, our center cuts, and we did a nice job downfield of just staying in the play, and trying to make things happen. Here's actually the last play. Our offensive last play of the game, of the season, week 11. We were down by 1 point. This is a 2-point conversion play for us. We had a pass play called, some kind of rub, something over here. If we liked what we saw, then we were coming out of a timeout, so we had shift. We told them shift back over here, and we'll run, our fly play if they don't give us what we're looking for. And then we had also had our back coming out of the timeout. We told our back, offset yourself, even though we normally don't do that, because we want, we got to win this game kind of deal. So here we are. It's essentially, they're pretty pumped up. It's the last play of the game, and our last offensive play of the season as a result. They come over, they've got us outmanned here a little bit, but once we move that back over, we feel, a little bit more comfortable in terms of what's going on, and they get caught in the wash, we win the football game. So, it's a great goal line play for us. We really like it. Sometimes we'll unbalance things to give us an extra hat there, but that's our Navy toss or our fly toss play. In terms of wing counter, this is another really good play that we like as a complementary play. Quarterback play on this, you're going to essentially fake the inside veer to the right, if we're running wing counter left, and you're going to hit turn on the mesh, just a real quick mesh, what we call sometimes a dirty mesh, step back off the mesh and hand the ball off to the wing. We're going to get motion out of this slot, and we're going to use some undetectable motion here, so it makes it look like it's inside veer, and then he's going to insert for the play side backer. He's got to seal that linebacker. If he loses himself and inside veer away, then don't waste your block and keep going. We'll see an example of where we don't do a very good job of that. We're going to reach the 5, and we want to essentially hook the 5. If he fights us to the outside, then just turn your hips outside and drive him out, and we'll go inside of that. Okay, so that's what we're doing here with our play side tackles. We're running it to the left. We're going to drive man on with our play side guard, sustain contact, and create space. All right, we need to get him out of the way. So it's a drive block. Center's going to block back for that pulling guard, 45-degree angle, fight pressure with pressure in terms of where he's headed when he sees that pulling guard in front of him. And then the pulling guard, you're going to get a little bit more depth as you start to pull. You need to read this play side tackle's block. If he hooks his man, then you're going outside of that block. Okay, and you're looking for the outside backer. If he doesn't, if he gets that turnout block because the end's fighting him, and you see the diagram in green here, then you're going to go inside of his block. You're still looking outside over inside for the first guy to show, because primarily you've got the force player on the perimeter. And you know, that's what you're going to do. In terms of the backside tackle, wheel and seal. You know, you got the B gap guy. If we're running it and there's a 3 technique here, you're going to get him. You're also going to get some help from this running back who's filling, you know, right behind the guard. So understand that, and that's a pretty important deal for you. Here's some cut-ups of this. Here you see, I mean, this is a huge hustle play for this pulling guard. I mean, he comes a long way. Here he is now. We get the seal here, so we're running it to the outside. We filled nice, and now our guard's going to lead the convoy downfield. Back does a good job putting his hand on his back, you know, to kind of let him know I'm here, you know, I'm going to use your block. Okay, we're going to go, essentially we're going to work down. We're going to be, you know, locked on here. He's going to pull. He's got a wheel and seal here, and we're going to come in. So we get a nice collapse here. Our play side slot is inserting, you know, but we don't really need him now. Instead of turning back here, he needs to go. We kind of lose our grip on the edge guy as we log him. That's not good by the play side tackle, but the pace of the play is such to where we can, you know, it's quicker, so we can kind of get around it. Here it is again. This time we do a much better job in the play side tackle. Look how deep that guard gets. That's nice for us. We like that. And then you know, you got that slot working his magic. That's why we want to recruit as fast a guy as we can possibly have in terms of that. We're going to get this guy to go in motion in turn. This time it's a different offensive guard, but the same hustle play. So you see, I mean, these guys know they got to be on their horse here. All right, here he goes. Boom, nice drive block by him and a pancake in open space. That's always good to see. And then, you know, great effort by our slot. Here's another one for us, and this is good. I mean, notice how, and this is really good by our offensive guard. He doesn't actually block anybody, but here he is doing what he's got to do. Our tackle stays engaged like he should. We can't finish this block here, so, you know, our guard's going to try and pick it up later down. You just don't touch him, man. Don't touch him. You know, our play side tackle does a really good job. You see that? See how patient he was there? He's just kind of slide. Keep your hand on the inside, and then, you know, we're good to go. Because he's going up against a guy who's kind of playing in space, so, you know, he's got to play smart in space as well. Here we are running again. We get caught a little bit deep in our backfield here. We're going to run it a little differently this time with the backfield action. We're going to work our back here across, which means we're not going to be able to motion this guy, so he's got to, from his position, go get the inside backer. It's a little bit of a change-up, kind of a game plan thing, because we had used some of this formation with the backfield. We get the guy a little deep, but it's, you know, a nice first down deep in our own territory. So, you know, that's kind of where we are, you know, and just kind of, you know, making plays work. You see our guard there. See how he gets him and kind of whirls around him. That's not really what we're looking for there. But overall, you know, it's a pretty good play for us. So here it is again. This time our guard's going to get two for one, and occupying those guys, and then our guy's able to get up the field and do some good stuff here. We're seeing that out front again, makes it a little easier for us in terms of inside, and then we're down the field. That's towards the end of the game. That's a huge momentum turner for us. This time we're going to do it with the H-back, and this kid should score here. It's kind of upsetting that he doesn't. But what we've got here is we'll send our slot in motion again, and they're trying to give us different looks, knowing that we're changing plays and whatnot. There we go. So, he should be. With all this green grass, you'd think that he could avoid that guy and kind of make a play, and the guy gets on him just a little bit. But you'll see the center's blocking back here. Center's blocking back. We're pulling through, drive blocking here. He's working on him. He's eyeballing him right now. The thing about this, and this is the one cut up where we'll see it, it's inside. See how wide this dude is? He's going to work up the field. Our guy's going to, he's going to set him a little bit and be smart about this. So we're able to kind of use his alignment against him, for the success of the play. So here we'll see it now. That left tackle's a 5-year guy. So there he is. He knows he's taking him out, and there he goes. And then, it's a nice big first down play for us. All right. The next one that we're going to kind of talk about here for a minute is the zone read play. Zone read play, which is a play that all of a sudden we're seeing in the NFL a little bit, with some of these quarterbacks from college that are coming in that can do this, which is good stuff. What we're going to do is we're a little bit deeper. We're midline footwork if back is pistoled, inside veer footwork if back is offset a little bit in terms of getting our hips to where they need to be. We're going to read the end man on the line of scrimmage, and our quarterback knows that it's a double option play. So it's either a give or keep kind of deal. Running back's technique, if you're in the pistol, you're deeper, you got to be a little bit slower, midline track, push the midline crease, and you get a three-way go. If adjacent or next to the quarterback, get into mesh position and run the inside veer track. Okay, so that's what we're kind of doing there. Offensive line wise, the play side offensive line will run inside veer. So if we're running the zone read to the left, then we're going to get kind of a veer release by the offensive tackle, although what we've started to do is really bang release him, which means we're going to kind of flipper him, get our shoulder into the defensive end on our way out, and then we're going to drive block the defensive tackle here, and then everybody's 45-degree angle and taking the guy that goes. If you're covered, if there's someone head up or to the 45-degree sitting in the gap that you're taking the step to, then you're going to drive him. If you're uncovered, you're going to step, look for a guy to spark into the gap. That defensive tackle, if he decides to get into that A gap, then that center's going to take him. Otherwise, you're going to level 2, and you're going to kind of flatten yourself out. You're going to start this way. You'll flatten yourself out to get a little vertical so that you can get to his play side shoulder and go with that. So from center backside, all linemen step away, 45-degree at an angle. If there's a level 1 defender, drive him. No level 1 defender, step to ensure no spark, and then release straight to the linebacker. So that's kind of what we're doing here. Here you'll see some practice footage. Quarterback isn't exactly great on his footwork. It's our young freshman there. He doesn't get that front foot forward here, but you can see we're working to essentially we're going to bang him and get in there. We're going to drive down that way. Our center's going to work backside here. He's looking for the spark here. If there's no spark, then he's going to continue up to linebacker there. We're going to work to drive that. We're going to work to drive there. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of blocking scheme. You see how that center tries to get vertical off of that, and that's kind of where we are. Here we are working it the other way. We get a nice included this one because we get a nice drive here, and we can watch that bang release, bang him. There you go. So we're seeing we'll back that up so you can see it again. Watch number 73, that right tackle here. He's going to bang, and go. And that should give us, the time we need, because it is a longer mesh. You see it does take a little bit longer. You see how that back, he's a really good back, freshman for us, but you see how he's going to really press this drive block and then bounce to where he knows the hole is going to be. All right, so that's kind of the way we're working it. Here it is, some game footage for us. We've got a couple plays to share here, excuse me. So we offset that back. We're going to send the guy in motion here, so we get that extra blocker. So we've got number 1, number 2, even number 3 here, and then boom. So we get 1, 2, and then 3. So that's kind of what we're doing here. See it again. So reset ourselves here, get ready for the play, and then there we go. He didn't have to bang. See, our right tackle really doesn't bang here because there's no one to bang. He's so wide that we can't, we don't get to him. So we are going to pin him. We get a nice drive here. We've got a nice little alleyway here in terms of, drive here, and we're going to pin here. All we're doing is reading this hat here, and then we should get a nice little crease off of it, and we do, and big play for our quarterback this time. So that's kind of our zone read play. Then we have jet zone read, which we also have used. Really, it's inverted veer for us. All we've done here essentially is here's our perimeter guy, and then our quarterback becomes the dive back essentially. So he's the pull read, which used to be the keep read and inside veer, and then we're switching responsibilities, and then the dive back or the give read becomes the keep read for the quarterback. It's a deeper alignment for quarterback technique. We shuffle with the mesh towards the handoff key. Give the ball unless the handoff key takes it away. It's another way to push the ball to the perimeter. We want to push the ball to the perimeter and inside veer. If we're having issues doing it, there's another way to do it with a similar situation. If you can't push the ball to the perimeter, if he's defensive end's absolutely taking it away, then you're going to keep the ball and dive into the B gap. Quarterback's the dive back, running back takes it to the perimeter, and that's why we've kind of tagged it inverted veer. Slot or the mesh guy, what you're doing, track should be parallel to the line of scrimmage, get wide and stay away from the handoff key. So do not work down in this area here. Okay, we do not want you working towards this guy. He's going to come here. He's going to come, all right? And we don't want him to be able to take both of you. So stay away from the line of scrimmage. That's a big guy. That's a big deal for us. Running back technique, if you're located in the pistol or we'll put you to the side. This year we did a lot of the side stuff. If you're here or if you're here, you've got number 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you've got number 3, and you're working linebacker to free safety, okay, or linebacker to safety to their side, however they line up. Play side tackle. I know this gets a little messy in here. Play side tackle, you're veer releasing, but you're not going for play side backer. You're going for backside backer. Okay, that's there's 2 changes to this scheme essentially. There's some changes to the scheme up front, and this is one of them. Play side backer, or play side tackle, you go to backside backer. We're still dry blocking the defensive tackle. Center blocks back. We pull the guard. We actually horn the guard through, and we wheel and seal on the backside. So here it is, horning through, and then we're blocking back, and then we wheel and seal. All right. Now, guard who's horning through, backside guard, horn through the B gap, keep shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage, stay tight to the center, and block the play side linebacker. If he gets outside of you, all right, if he makes this move here and he's working towards the perimeter, like he probably will do, then you continue through, and if this backer comes over the top, then you'll get him or you're working for the safety. All right, but do not chase him. Do not chase him. All right, it just puts another guy in everyone's way. All right, and that's how we kind of deal with that. We can run it with motion, without motion. There it is. We're running it with the back, so there's no motion kind of deal. Nice little complementary play to our option stuff. He gets the ball to the edge. He finds a little daylight, and he gets a big gain for us. Sorry about that. That angle's really bad. Here it is again. Once again, we're going to let that defensive end, kind of deal with what's going on here. They got an extra guy there, and we just kind of take care of that and just run by them all. They don't really understand. A lot of these defenses, have a hard time dealing with this play. That's really the best example of a give read, or I should say a keep read or a dive read that we get. He comes flying up the field, giving our quarterback no choice. Our quarterback was the leading rusher, set the conference record for rushing yards in a season. So we told our quarterback on this play, they are not going to let you carry the ball. I mean, you set the record. You're the lead. He was one of the leading rushers in the entire league. So if there's a mesh here, they're going to make him put the ball in somebody else's hands. That's just the way it is. And here's kind of the best example of them not doing that. But that's kind of what we prepared for all year in terms of using this play. So, sorry about that. So, but typically what we found when we're running this play is that it's going to be the quarterback giving the ball. And this one we're using a tight end, and our tight end is going to work for backer to safety. Okay, so that's kind of the adjustment we make when we get the tight end. There he is. Stay on the top shoulder though. I mean, if he could get, and there's no reason why he couldn't. If he could have gotten that top shoulder, I mean, there would have been green grass all the way. But instead, we're fighting it a little bit and giving our back a little less space to kind of do what he's got to do. You see our tackle go to the backside guy, not the play side guy. There it is. No, go to the backside guy, not the play side guy, and then our guard pull in and hustle through. Great goal line play for us. Really kind of puts us in a situation where we get a nice little alley there, and it's another quick one, just like when we were using jet and fly down here in the goal line. So we really like these plays, in terms of doing that. We really like the fact that our offensive tackles, when they do go down like they're supposed to the backside, I mean, he misses it here, but there's a kill shot for this guy on this very unsuspecting guy who's coming across and thinks that he's flown to the ball undetected here. I mean, he's got a kill shot. He takes it a little bit, but not really what we're looking for. So there it is again on the goal line, and I mean, you can see how it's a pretty effective play. And here we are again. This time we motion to it, kind of set ourselves up, and then we just kind of trot in there. And then here we are again, and actually, I mean, if we're counting, we've got 3 guys over here, and we've got 3 guys to block 1, 2, and then 3 here. And if we get to this shoulder, I mean, it should have been, it should have been a 6-point play for us. But unfortunately, he stops his feet there. If he would continue on this arc and just get there, then we'd be good. So these are the kinds of things that that we work on constantly to get guys better at, because there he is. I mean, we could have broken that, or we did break it, and he would have been off. So and here we are again, a nice little deal. Notice how our back's staying away from the line of scrimmage when he runs it. Really like the way Corey does that, number 29. So really trying to work just to get up in there and find that alley. Have that running back just find that alley. And get vertical when you can after you have the ball on the mesh. So there he is. He sees that he's got a guy engaged here. He sees there's a nice little bubble here. This guy's over pursued if he gets vertical, and there, boom, we're good to go. So that's kind of what they're doing. It's not necessarily take it all the way to the all the way to the sideline and get upfield. The next play I want to share with you here is outside veer. It's a play that's near and dear to my heart. Love running this play. It's another adaptation from split back veer. We feel like when we were a flexbone team, we couldn't run this play because the angles were bad in terms of trying to mesh it, that we always had to reverse out and run belly. Never liked that play as much as we like outside veer. So switching to short pistol has really helped us in terms of that. Our quarterback's footwork is one big, two little. It's 3 steps working downhill. He's reading the end man on the line of scrimmage. We're tracking the tackle now instead of the guard. So the inside leg of the tackle, soft seal on the ball, and get vertical right off that double team block and stay as tight as you can to that so that you can get vertical and really make them wrong and put them in a bind. Here you'll see us drill it a little bit in practice. One big, two little. He's getting vertical right off that mesh. Okay, so you get, he's got to stab that ball back. One big, two little. There you go. So that's what we're looking for here. You'll see it again. So we're looking for that mesh. Really puts that defensive end in a bind because we're right at him. Oops. Let's go over offensive line play in this. The traditional outside veer blocking scheme. Got a little ahead of myself. We're going to double at the point of attack. All right, we're going to step to the hole. We're not going to really try and triple it, but you're working towards the play side backer. You're working play side, and we got to pick this guy up in the wash as well. So depending on where that nose goes, what he does, one of these guys coming off of the backside backer, and then we're gonna kind of roll it like that. If you have a 2 and an 8, and this guy's not here, then you essentially what you're going to do is your tight end will free release, and then we'll double this guy. If that was the guy that was there. So if you're getting an even front, that's how you would kind of deal with that circumstance. So get a lot of questions. We like to run against that odd. We see that even front, we can do it too. Here we go. Really run this this past year out of some power formations and power schemes, just to kind of get it going and really work downhill. You see the one big, two little. I mean, our running back, he's hitting that fast, all right? And then everything is just collapsing down. Number 80 there, that guy should get number 2 on the perimeter, okay? So, there was no reason for him to waste his block there. But you'll see we've really got to emphasize movement at the point of attack here. We really want to get movement here. He's going to step. He should step play side and work up. So we don't really have anybody right on this guy, which helps us as well. So we've got to get movement on that double team right now. So that's where those tight ends have got to be with you. Learning. We really like that double team block right there. If we kind of back it up here a little bit, you'll see these two guys. Now it's heavy tight end, light tackle, but what we do, technically if we were teaching it, but what we do is we tell our tackle, you drive, and then you're going to push with him and make sure he doesn't come off to the play side, because we don't want our strongest blocker to be the weak guy. And we get good movement there. Our running back stays nice and tight, and it's a big play for us. Here it is. We kind of screw up this blocking scheme a little bit, but I think it's it's worth talking about. We can tag it. If we were being honest here, we didn't tag it, but our tight end played like we did, where we've got everybody working down, and our H-back in motion here comes and kicks. That would be, we would tag it, we'd call it outside veer kick or whatever we were using in our no-huddle lingo to do it. But we get the down, he gets a little confused. He should have number 2 right there, but it is what it is. So, but, I mean, we end up okay, and a big play for us, as we're backed up to our own end zone, and, next thing you know, we're getting 20-something yards. So, we really want to work this double team here. We got to concentrate on that. This guy, we're hoping to get him off the double team, by pushing back into him. We're going to work our guard to the play side here and kind of do it that way to see what's going on. So that's kind of where we stand in terms of that play. Here you'll see it again, one big, two little, and then right up the gash and kind of getting them good. So, we're really like this play in terms of complementary run. It's power football, still reading the guy, and doing those kinds of things that have to be done in order to be successful. So, and just kind of imposing our will on people, and we like to do that. And here it is one last time. They're just kind of trudging forward with it. Our head coach has a series of DVDs on this. If you're interested, certainly, you can contact him. Otherwise, or contact the website. But otherwise, it was a pleasure and a privilege for me to present this in front of you today. I hope that you got something out of it. Certainly answer any questions you have. Regarding this, if you want, you can email me or contact me, through our website at Ferris State University. Thanks for the time. Take care.